G'day and welcome, and I'm still here. Haven't gone anywhere. Just been doing lots and lots of stuff, working around the house as usual, which is what I say pretty much at the start of every video. And it's benign stuff. I mean, I made a gate. I'm not going to do a video on how to make a gate because I made it badly, deliberately, because it's a temporary gate. And so I can't include stuff like that, right? So, you know, other things have been happening though. So one of the things that's transpired, I got to get rid of two cars. Daughter's Nova, Holden Nova, which is just a Corolla, 118,000 kilometres, and it's in mint condition. And I've got to decide whether I get a roadworthy and sell it with the roadworthy, which I'm thinking I might do, or just cull it. I think it's worth actually getting a roadworthy on because it's such a clean example. So I've got to get rid of that. And also Graham Newbury's just, the XA Coupe guy, has just inherited this one of the Starlets, the white one, the trashed one. I don't even know if he knows that yet, but he's going to figure it out when it rolls up at his door. It's still in bits at the moment because it's got a water leak in it. But the carpets and seats came out like new and all the rest of it. You know how it goes. So that's looking pretty good too. Also, Jason Hill's engine block is ready. Yeah, it's had all the machining done. Got all the bits here. We'll talk about some of the bits later in the video. There's still a lot more stuff to come. Jason's more a custom guy than me. I like stock looking stuff, where he's going to be taking the block back from Tony's to paint it, and it's going to match the car. And he only has to paint the bottom stuff, so it wasn't sort of worth him going to take the block by itself because there's the sump and the timing case and the pointer, which all have to be painted as well. So I took them to the hydroblaster along with the whole lot of carburetor stuff, and it goes on and on. So I went to see hydroblaster today, and I went to see Tony, the engine builder. He Speedworks in Ringwood. The guy's an expert, so he wanted the camshaft because he put new bearings in the block and he just wanted to make sure it rotates properly, all that sort of stuff. So there's all this sort of other stuff going on. I met two guys, Andre and Gil, when Jason's gone off and bought himself an XA hardtop. So when I was there, I went to look at this other one that he was considering. It was a Gossi. One of the guys there recognised me and we had a great chat. And he's a guy named Gil. Hi, if you see this, Gil. Thank you very much for your kind offer. Gil's offered me a set of 351 rods for the XA project. So now I've got the whole engine because I've got the block that's already been machined, although it needs its final hone. And I just need a camshaft, I think, and some bearings and consumables. The rest of the stuff's done, including the heads that Jason was going to get, that Tony started and I didn't tell him not to, because I forgot. So I just paid for those. So they're coming too. And I'll have all this for the next video. I think I'll get another video out quite quickly. So went to the hydroblaster, went to the engine builder. Carport's done, although I'm just waiting on the plumber to connect up the downpipes, then it can have its final inspection, and then I'll get a slab done. So that's still a way off, but at least the structure's done. And it's flashed into the garage, so there's no leaks or anything like that. And that's about it. So I'm not going to bang on too much more. With that being said, hope you enjoy. Well, this is where I left off last time, and it's rained. And this is the problem I've got with water. What a dump. It's all coming in from next door. I mean, that's a creek. Well, I'm wearing my banana peel shoes, my slippers. Get it? Haha. Now this hasn't flooded, but I've got a problem in that drain's got to be right down further to the level of the floor, or below the level of the floor in the garage. But the foundations are really high along here for the porch, for the veranda, so I'm going to have to think about that. Yeah, I'm going to try and clean the gutters.
You haven't done it, like, ever.
I have when I'm up there, but... Look! Whoa, nearly went over. Oh my God. Charlie, have a look at this. Oh, I forgot to water that jacaranda too. Oh well, I'm going to find out what leaks here and what doesn't. Oh my gosh. I've never seen it this bad. Holy smoke. Hey, that's quite bad. It's gonna be that cardboard box full of books. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't think a little strip drain is going to help that. Gee whiz. That blows. Well, I think the only thing I've got to move is that box, which has got books or clothes or something, and I can't remember. Oh my goodness. Never seen it this bad. Never. That was rain, man. That was rain. Let's have a look in the back. I guess when your backyard looks this crap, well, you might as well finish it off and make it look just diabolical. Post holes are full. That just looks like a puddle. You stand in that and it's going to be right up to your neck. What's going on here? It smells damp, but it doesn't look it. It looks like that stuff's all alright. I'm going to have to go through that because there's stuff in there I just don't want getting wet. Well, it's a gorgeous day. Backyard's still not too gorgeous. I gave it a mow a little while ago. I think a week ago, but spring has sprung, so we've got that. A bit more junk to get rid of here. I'll cut that table off. That can become... Suzanne had that, and she needs to get rid of it. I said, I'll get rid of it for you. So I cut this up, and that can become part of that EJ grey motor engine stand. I just need to tidy all this up because it's really starting to bother me at the moment. Replanted this, and I think it's going to be okay. Let's check around her. Carport's up. So, a couple of things with this. It's quite large. I'm fairly happy with it. So, concrete is coming tomorrow. He'll concrete the posts in. And I'll have to, it's a good thing he's working on a Saturday. I'll have to drain those holes out. I've got to repair the fence. And what'll happen next is I've got to get a plumber in because the fall on the, what do you call it? The downpipes is wrong. So he's put these ones in, exiting here, and the storm water's under here somewhere. It goes under the garage. So the garage is now 15 metres long. So it's significant, which is pretty good. 6 full cars and a bunch of motorcycles will fit in there. So after I got the plumber in, we'll get a slab done. Then I'll take the back off. Well, I've got to get final inspection and all this sort of stuff, and then I'll take the back of the garage off and extend it over. Right, this thing. I was a little bit worried about that little spot of discoloration there. It looks like rust, but it is squeaky up there. There's absolutely no marks at all. The problem with this is I left that window down and it rained. So it did get some moisture into it. So I've taken all the seat covers off because they're grotty anyway. Going to take this carpet out and see if I can wash it up. It looks like a big job. Look at the mould on the wheel. Nice. But that was because, well, that was my fault. But the steering wheel was pretty mutted anyway. So I'll put a new steering wheel in and pull this carpet out, wash it up, let it dry properly, and put the car back together. And it should be good. It's got good tinted windows on it. It hasn't got power steering, but I can put it on. Air conditioning works great. It's got 200,000 on it, but 200,000 on a Toyota is chicken feed. I was thinking about culling it and wrecking the car because it's got a water leak inside, which I thought was a window down, but it's not. It's over there under the dash, and it's all clean. There's no rust. There's no problems with the A-pillars. There's no problems with anything. But I pulled it all apart, and I thought halfway through, I thought, look, if this shell has any problems, I'm just going to wreck the car. I think I just wanted to take it out just to make sure that there was nothing, because if you remember, those bonnet hinges were bent. I just wanted to make sure a seam wasn't apart over there. And pulled the, what's that called, the heater fan out, the dash and the heater fan, and had a look behind it. It's all perfect. so I can put it all back together. And I'll give it a good clean up. And I'll put a new antenna on. I bought bumpers and guards and all sorts of stuff. I'll paint it up quickly for him. It won't be perfect, but I think for what he's going to do with it, it'll be fine. So put it all together, give it a good clean up, paint the front of it, and make it look sort of semi-new again, because at the moment it doesn't. But I like it to go somewhere like that instead of just being disassembled and wrecked. It does look pretty bad, but watch how it cleans up. It'll clean up a peach. So I'm probably in about $1,000. The car was, what was it, $500 or something. And I bought bumper for it and a whole lot of other bits and pieces. So $1,000, you reckon? I don't know. Oh, paint, and I can't remember what I got for it. A few other bits anyway. And some of the bits I had. I've got an antenna that's all buggered. It's all got a little dog leg in it, so I've got another antenna for it. And we'll make it look a little bit better, whoops, than it does now, and it'll suit the sort of lifestyle he's got. It's got a good air conditioner in it, it's got tinted windows. That tyre looks alright, and the other tyre on the back looks alright, but I'm not sure, I can't remember what's around the other side. But if you remember, that's right, I had to put I welded this in, that headlight bracket in. I can't remember where I welded it to, there somewhere, maybe? I can't remember. But I'm actually pleased that it'll go there. So I don't know how we're going to get it there. I don't know if I'm going to... I don't think I can drive to Adelaide on a permit. I might have to stick it on a truck or something. And we've also got to do this XA seat. It's pretty had it, but it's the frame with the Fairmont / GT armrest. And someone's retrimmed that Burberry stuff from the XE Falcon GLs. So I'll pull this off, see what the frame's like. If the frame's any good, I'll give it to Sam at Tech Coating Bayswater, and I'll get it blasted, and I'll get him to powder coat it. I'll get them replated. And get Jason to, well, he's offered to retrim it. But you know what? I don't think it's bad at all. The front seats are knackered, or at least one of them is. But Graham has given me another 2 front seats. Only proper XA ones with the plastic on the back. I don't want this colour. I want the sort of, it's parchment or something, off-white. And I just need the base of the back seat. That's all I need. And I reckon I'm in pretty good shape then. It's a bit misshapen. I've kind of sort of straightened it up here. It's still got a bit of a wow in it there, but can we blast it and powder coat it? And then I've got that part, and that's the hard bit to get, or at least the expensive bit. On the XC, I got a Fairlane one, and I actually put Falcon side sort of outriggers, for want of a better term, on it, because the Fairlane ones are a lot thicker with a wider dogleg. But I reckon that'll be alright. So I've got this seat, and I've got the 2 driver seats from Graham. All I need is the base of the back seat for the XA, and I reckon I'm set. Oh, and a driver's side door trim too. I need one of those. That dog looks alright though. Hi dog. Who's a nice pretty girl? Actually, you're not very pretty. I always make these noises, and it excites her. I come home from work and go, like that, and she runs into the kitchen, and she knows there's a big treat and a lot of love for her. She's got a jacket on. Here's the other one. Right. So I've got this, this is off the XA seat, and I've freed that mechanism up. It's off the dicky seat at the back, the little armrest thing. This one's still stuck, and these are jammed solid. That's the remains of the timber that's left. And so I'm just sort of pulling bits and pieces, still cleaning up after all this work I've had to do. All this, what do you call it? Cleaning up after the carport. This is actually quite difficult. So I've got I met a bloke called Gil, lovely guy, and I met him through Jason Hill. Now Jason's been looking for a hardtop Falcon. He found a Gossie. It was a beautiful car actually, but he decided on this other XA thing for some reason. I don't know why. I haven't spoken to him since he bought it anyway. When we went to this guy's place, there was a guy called Andre. I can't say what he had there because, you know, I mean, he hasn't elected to tell people, so I'm not going to tell him. But I met a bloke called Gil. I was supposed to be looking at this thing of that Jason was going to buy, and it took me a while to get around to looking at it because I kept looking. Well, I kept talking to this other bloke, and he was an enthusiast, and he had Landau and a few other bits and pieces there. Well, anyway, he's got some 351 rods, which is exactly what I need for my engine building. So, I'm sort of going through this, freeing bits and pieces up. That could be a bit tougher than the other one, but I did free that up. So I'm just going to keep going with this. I'm going to cut those off. The car is going to end up looking great. Actually, I'm pretty convinced. I'm also fairly convinced that I can do it a little bit more cost effectively than the others. Well, that's a dangerous thing to say because it never works out like that. But anyway, I'm going to cut those off. Then I'll free this up. Right, alternators. I've got 4, I need 2. This is the one over Sigma. The bearing's gone and the slip ring in the back's absolutely had it. I can get bearings, I can get a new rotor, all this sort of stuff, but you do a bit of maths and it's not worth doing. A new one's $300, so that becomes toast. That one, no idea what that's from. I might just take that to the college and leave it in the, give it to the auto people for the apprentices. I'm not sure, I don't want that. These ones here, I think that's Holden 6. Very, very healthy in terms of the slip rings, and the regs alright. I mean, they're very cheap and easy to do, those regs, so that's not bad. And this is another Ford V8 one, I think. Yes, you can use a Holden 6 one for a Ford V8 by just boring this out and machining up a spacer. This still needs a spacer, but it's a lot smaller. But that is probably alright. I'm not sure, I just don't know what this business here is. You know, I don't like that. That being said though, the internals look fairly good, and it seems to, it's not noisy at all, so that's probably a good foundation for just working out what this is. Here, Motorcraft. Working out what that is, or sorry, what this wire is. I think that was off an XC or an XB302 that we had at the college, back when I used to do vet taster programs and that sort of stuff. I'm just going to pop that back in. So, I need one for the XA, and I need one for the Sigma. I drove a Sigma up to Susie's place, and hang on, go in there, and yeah, I was going up just on battery power, and I only just got there, and it was totally dead. So I'll pop those two together. This one here with the black plastic cover, and the Sigma one. Those two are junk. I'll just keep the fan off it because I plated that, and I'll make one up for the XA, and Bob's your uncle. Now to think about this box of tricks, we've got an extension housing for the EJ. That's a hydroblasting item, as well as a jack stand for the XC. So they'll go up and get hydroblasted. The extension housing gets left in bare aluminium finish, that'll get painted. We've got these carburetors. Now, a few push rods here. I don't know why I've got push rods there. I think I have a full set and I gave Graham a full set. This has to be hydroblasted, the snout for the gearbox. It's got a 3-speed crash in it. And the rest of this is BXOV Stromberg grey motor stuff. And I pulled them apart a long time ago. And I've just got to make sure that I know exactly what I'm doing. Thrust plate for the Holden, for the grey. Ooh, what's that? A great big mosquito. Oh, yeah. Can I get you? No. And a couple of oil slingers, so I'll get them blasted as well. What I'm mainly concerned about though is the carburetors. I've just got to figure all this out. Right, now we have some other bits and pieces here. We've got to work all this stuff out. We've also got all these bits here, which are floats and gaskets, and of course we're going to put new gaskets and that sort of thing in, but some parts will get plated. I don't know if you want silver or gold plating, floats, springs, screws, all that sort of business. Here, where are the mounting screws? Damn, I can't find them. I can't find them. These BXOVs, I don't really want to take those apart. I mean, I can, but it's not really on a high list of priorities. I've put a piece of wire on the matching air horn and throttle body, so I know what goes where. But these are different from later ones. And I've got 7 of these. The 7th, I've got 3 of these for Graham. There's 2 here, there's another one kicking around somewhere. And this came in the XA from DJ. And he didn't even know it was in there. And this is off a later red motor, like an HQ or something like that. And it's pretty well... Oh, that part works. Oh, I thought it was locked up. That'd do up alright too. So I've got to work out what we get plated, what we don't get plated, and how we're going to get around this. We've got little air flaps, bleeds, and all sorts of things with them. So I'm going to sort through this stuff, so I know exactly what I'm doing. Because at the moment I don't. I've got to when you acquaint myself with the job. This was the 3rd one Graham gave me, which is sheared. Maybe. Oh, you know what I need? I need this. Hang on a minute. I cut my fingernails. I can't get that out. Hang on a minute. What have we got? I need another one of these. The linkage. That one. Okay. That goes into the box of tricks. What the hell did I do with that? Here. That's the other bit that I need. And it does look the same, which is cool. Alright, so that's Graham's spare parts. That's actually not that bad either. I wonder if it's worth getting all of them done. I'll leave that so I can see how it goes together. That's probably a better thing to do. So that's Graham's other one. This all freed up. It's doing everything it should, which I'm happy about. Holden has been touched, as you can see. It's got the XA seat on that's going to Sam, as I mentioned. The car hasn't been touched. All I've done is start doing that tunnel. I didn't even finish that. I put masking tape on it to protect the welds until I got to it next time, but it's been out here a long time, so I've got to revisit that, get all that finished, and do some rust repairs before I send it off for blasting. It's probably a bit worse than it was before, I don't know, but it certainly doesn't worry me. I can fix that. That's a nice repair. XA buckets, they are trash. One of them actually is probably salvageable, but the rest of it's trash. And of course all this stuff will go into that carport and we'll do the metal work on it and get it all sorted out that way. But by the time the XA gets here, it'll be in much better shape than this, because it'll all be blasted and, it'll only have... The XA is actually an easier job than this. But now the Graham's done the roof and everything, this is actually a much harder job, but I'm still not fazed by it. It doesn't worry me at all. It's obvious. The interior of that Starlet was particularly messed up, but the carpets have come up really, really well. There's no stains. It's just got, I can use it as vacuum, I suppose, but it's got damage there, but that's the only damage on it. The rest of it's absolutely perfect. So that'll go back in the car, and the seats have come up like that too. They've come up really, really well. So, once I've started putting the air conditioning fan, everything back in, the heater fan back in, I'll put all this dash in. All the looms are in beautiful condition. There's been no water damage, nothing like that. And that'll all fit back in. It's a quick, easy job on these. They're a lovely little thing to work on. That's for power pack cars, for central locking, and it's all good. So I'm kind of looking forward to putting it back together well and getting some of the junk out of the way. Right, we've got a bunch of stuff from Speedworks in Ringwood. They are the company I use for all my engine machining and all this sort of stuff. So he's done Jason's crank for MAB. We've got these big end bearings. He also bought, Jason wanted a new balancer, so we got a brand new balancer, and you can actually read it, which is good. The rod was all sort of messed up. There'll be mains. What have they done to I haven't got my other glasses with me, I can't see. Hold on a minute. Here we go. I just want to see what he machined it to because I never asked him. Hang on, I'm getting impatient. Can I see the label? Probably not. Anyway, we'll figure it out. It's all good. We've got old spark plugs and old bearings and cam plugs and all that sort of stuff, and this is just all the crap out of the block, I think. They're the valve stem seals. Oh my gosh, yeah, they absolutely had it. So those heads are coming back soon. That's their block plugs. Those heads are coming back soon. They're the ones I'm keeping. And we've got all the rod bolts, the old rod bolts, and the main bearing caps there. So, what I'm interested in, also, we've used a new drive plate. I don't know why. I don't know what was wrong with the old one. There was an old one. I don't think any of the teeth were compromised, but I don't know why he changed it, but he did. The other thing we've got to look at are these 351 rodded, 302 rodded, sorry, pistons. And there they are there. Absolute work of art. Pin height's a lot higher because the rod is longer, which apparently gives you more torque. These have been resized because we've put new ARP bolts in, and they've been all checked, crack tested, everything. So I need to get the rings for this, but these have all been balanced as well as the crank and the drive plate and balancer. So he's getting a very, very nice engine. I've just got to whiz down to the hydroblast to get the sump done. He's using the standard sump, which isn't baffled. My belief was 302s weren't baffled, 351s were, but there's always variations to that rule, and of course people have seen them the other way around. So I've got to go and get that done. I'd have thought this is going to have alloy heads, it's going to have all sorts of stuff. I've got to talk to Tony about the cam, or I want Jason to talk to him, because I think it's best if he does, because then he knows exactly what he's getting. And you know, we were shooting for 400 horsepower, which is very easy in a 351, but he's only got a stock converter. He's got a stock C4 transmission, and 400 horsepower will probably tear it apart, particularly in the planetaries. So I've got to go and get that done, and I'll be back. One thing I noticed about this engine, it looked absolutely perfect, but we've had a failure. There's all metal bits in there. I don't know what that is. Be interesting to see if it's magnetic. I might go and get a magnet and see what it is. I don't think it is. It could be, it was all down, sort of down in that area there. It could be piston pieces or something. Maybe it had a piston starting to fall apart. I don't know, but there's quite a lot of it in there. I think that's just sticking there. It's not really magnetic. I don't know what those bits are. Very interesting. Interior on that Starlet turned out great. This is the worst of them. There's a tiny little hole there. But the others are as good as new. Really, really pleased with how they turned out. And they were pretty bad when I got them. Or before I washed them. This area was a pig. There was a big stump there that was hellish to remove. I still haven't carted all this crushed rock. I've got a bunch of crushed rock under the carport. There were 3 more stumps that were quite small. I bought some of the crushed rock up. And this is the dodgy gate, and it opens from the wrong side, and it's also got it's catching now because all the wood swelled up with all the water, but at least we can sort of get out the front, and I'll put a proper thing on that. All I've done is I just took this bit off here and just stuck some hinges on it, right, and then it locks. So I'll have it so that it slips from this side, and I'll get rid of that. That's just all temporary. That's what I was talking about when I said I made a dodgy gate. This weather is so depressing. Look at the mess. Motorcycle. Now, this bike, I finally ordered a seat cover. So all it needs then is this brake rod down the bottom, somewhere. This one here, this is wrong. This brake room. So once that's done, this bike's finished. Finally. And the other thing, the second guard's coming for the XC. I've just got to just do a couple of little adjustments. Got to clean this car up. It's filthy. It looks awful. And look how dusty it is. And then, once I've got that other guard, which is coming very, very soon, I've just got to just touch up a few bits. Graham's done all the hard stuff. All the hard stuff. I've only done... Actually, I've done nothing. But I've just got to finish off a couple of little bits and pieces, and we can have that painted and finally put the front back on the car. And then the only thing wrong with this then, I'll get the steering wheel covered, is the power window. The rear right-hand power window is going down but not going up. But the motor's working, so it's a switch issue, which I never finished off. But yeah, needs clean. So this is almost finished, and then we'll put it straight on the road and go for a drive. Anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you've enjoyed it. Take good care of yourselves, and I shall see you soon. What do you reckon? Move. Move, cat. Move. Move. Come on. Off you go.